I have an idea of what I want to say, and I'm hesitating with where to start on it because it feels very big and beautiful and amazing. And I am really, really grateful to have this unique role to sit in this healing spot with all the individuals I work with. I'm getting an inside view at this tapestry that is being woven together from having this role. This role, there's a view that not everybody gets to have from sitting here and being invited to the table on the inside of these transformative healing journeys for the people that I'm working with. I'm amazed by it every day. I'm so grateful. And one thing I've noticed as I've had many people doing really beautiful reparenting, inner child, integrating healing work is this coming home to self, and more so the journey of that. And I can't help but think of an analogy, a metaphor of the Holy Trinity connected to what I'm seeing unfold with the revelations, the observations during EMDR sets, the visuals, the visions that people are having around this. And those three unique elements, which seem to be the inner child, this current viewer version of this person, this adult, and the God energy of the person, the oversoul energy is what I'm calling that, the more concentrated, undiluted piece of their soul, that the eternal part of them that carries an identity far beyond this singular lifetime that we're talking about. And I'm noticing as people are doing EMDR that all three of these energies are online. And oftentimes esoterically, in the mind's eye, there are visuals happening that people are experiencing during the eye movement sets, where all three of these energies are in the same room, essentially. And there's real relationships, interactions, and communication happening between all three, which is amazing. And this has happened with more than one person, much more than one person. It seems to be happening in a similar order for multiple people, including myself, as I'm perpetually, inevitably, for the rest of this lifetime on the healing journey. I will never stop ascending up that spiral staircase. It seems, I was going to say the work is never done, but I think to call it work is more of a forced, efforty energy. And I want to say maybe privilege, opportunity, gift, that it is to have that perspective, invitation, capability to experience life in that way. And so back to the unfolding of how those conversations are happening, it usually seems to start with the inner child alone in this dark space, and the current adult version of this person reaching back in time to support, love, coax at times. It starts with coaxing and then it turns into just holding space for and sitting with and honoring and validating the inner child. And once those two are comfortable sitting together with less pressure and more presence, then we start to see the angelic form of this person, the oversoul energy, come into the room. So now we've got all three of the energies. And the very interesting thing that happens there is where it started with this adult version of the person being the one to enter the scene in a way in which they are thinking that they're going to be rescuing or showing up for the inner child. And they do that. That's a necessary part of the process because it seems to be happening for so many different people. And then the dynamics shift a bit when the more angelic version of the person ascends and enters the room and wings out, arms open, however you want to envision that. What I then see is this person is witnessing, they are feeling like the adult version of themselves in the scene, and they are seeing the inner child version run into the arms of that oversoul energy. And now we have those two in unity, coaxing the adult version that feels calcified in illusions of control. I've got to maintain this safety, this power, this leverage of standing over here. And that's kind of where I'm at with most of the people. I don't know that I've had anyone who's on this journey. I have several, like I said, who we've walked through the entire wholeness, integration, reunion energy, but I have several people who are very close to it. So I'm sure when that happens, I will be sharing an update on it. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see the wholeness of these three energies weaving together and coming into a place of unity. And when I see that start to happen, there is see a sigh of relief. It's just a sense of grounded safety and sovereignty that invites more of an opening of that heart space. I feel more safe to love now, to be inside of my true energy than I ever have before, because really when you're having relationships with other people and you're doing that from a place of being at division with your own internal energy, of course that feels scary, right? You're starting that with a shaky foundation, and so you're going to feel nervous about being toppled over. And that feels so much different than having an inner unity from healing and reparenting and coming home to yourself. And that's a continual journey because I don't think there's an end point to it. I don't think there's you cross the threshold and now congratulations, you're fully at union with yourself. I think it's a little more of an internal compass, not a map. Sacred heart compass rather than a map that has a destination. A constant ability to hold the knowing and the honoring that you are traveling with, that sacred soul aligned compass to navigate your life in authenticity and alignment with your soul energy. That's internal unity, is how are you traveling, not where are you going. So as I've noticed, people and myself included, getting very, very near to this inner union where now that inner child has felt seen and held by this adult version of ourselves and has run into the arms of the oversoul energy. And those two energies now seem to be unified and are beckoning forward the adult version, who stays a little bit stuck and hesitant holding on to the things that are the illusions of safety and are very much connected to control, illusions of control. These are survival skills that once served. And so I imagine it this way. And people tell me as they're getting close to this, they're grateful, they're noticing the changes and the healing that has occurred for them. And they're amazed and say things like, I've never experienced this type of healing journey before, and my mind is blown. I'm amazed. But they get to that threshold and they're scared. And we see that, right? I've been doing so much healing work. This is amazing. And now I'm at a part where I don't know why, but I'm feeling really scared. Like, it's okay to feel really scared, right? Because what's happening is you are feeling like you have just fought this lifetime worth of a battle, and you have one thing that you've held on the entire time, and is this sword that is very meaningful to you. There's attachment to that sword, and you're being asked to set that down. You need to set that sword down in order to unify with these other energies that are present, patient, ready for you, right? And that's not an easy thing emotionally to walk through. It requires honoring and labeling and compassion for the sword. We have to, there's a level of grief almost in that, I think, of setting that sword down, right? And people will well up when we notice that, and I put the words to it with them. It's okay to love that sword, like that has served you, that has honored you, that has importance. That has a lot of importance, right? You don't need it now. You don't want to have to hold it now. And that doesn't mean it feels easy to set down. And as I've just, again, noticed this beautiful unfolding and the weaving together of these three energies that, when they come into union, create that embodied light energy, this wholeness, this healed, more true to form of the highest version and the eternal frequency of your authentic soul essence coming into this unity. I wrote a poem that is speaking to all of this that I will share at the end of this clip.